Two dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the two dudes and the attitudes, ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. A 5-star broadcast, shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E, the two dudes with the attitudes to bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.
It's Two Dudes with Attitudes, a wrestling podcast with Ryan Enjoys Wrestling and the Heartbreak Dude Denton. And this is our WWE. Don't go back in there. It's not about us. Edition, where we are going to talk all things SmackDown, Raw, NXT, some poppin' news, and we got some prediction time. That's right, y'all. How you doing, Ryan? We took a week off because you were in my town and we didn't even meet up.
I know, man. Yeah, tried to, but it just didn't work out. But yeah, I'm back. We was in California last week in beautiful San Diego. Weather was gorgeous. Went to Disneyland for a day back in Anaheim. That was a long drive, and that's why we didn't do it again. But it was fun. We stayed from the moment the park opened to the moment it closed at midnight. So it was a long day. But we're back now and ready to break down this fun week in WWE.
Did you ride? I forget because you said you didn't, or maybe you did. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
We did not. We were in line for it, and then it broke, and so we got back, huh? We got a free lightning lane, but we used it for Rise of the Resistance instead. Which is a better ride, but it's the same ride. But it's the exact same. Yeah. But I have ridden I have ridden Mickey's Runaway Railroad before at the one in Florida, and is a fun. Is it the one where Goofy's driving the train and he crashes? Nothing can stop us now. Yeah.
That's the only reason why I like it, because that song is, when I was a season pass holder, it's stuck in my head every single time we went. I sing it when I walk around Disneyland. Do, 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 do. Best song. That's why that ride's the best, just because of that song. But yeah,
all right. I love but it was a good time. We got to. I didn't see any celebrities this time around, but we had fun. So happy to be back. And
they're all underground.
Yeah, and ready to. It was a good week in wrestling, a fun week, and both. We missed AEW Wrestle Dream. We didn't do our Two Thumbs with Attitudes, but I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about with that tomorrow as well. So it was a fun week.
I think everybody's killing it. I mean, if you saw my TikToks, I'm very high on AEW right now, and the BCC being the NWO and so on. So, but we'll get into that tomorrow. Let's go WWE, because you got some news and a new segment. I think you're going to call us. You came up with a new name.
Well, you did. You came up with this on. I'm stealing from you. So you came up with a segment on TikTok called
Heartbreak. So do a lot of people on TikTok.
The Heartbreak Dude reads the news, and I was like, let me be like some of these bigger creators out here and steal from the little guy, and I'm gonna make this our segment. So we have a new segment called we're gonna change it to The Dudes Read the News, and I've been trying to think of a name for this segment. I've been trying to be like The Dudes News. I was trying to find something that rhymes, but I was like, this kind of sounds. Dudes News sounds a little weird. It's like bees knees, and
sounds like dudes.
Send
some nudes.
So I was like, let's one little typo and everything can go awry. So when you came up with the Heartbreak Dude Reads the News on TikTok, I was like, all right, I'm stealing that, and we're gonna make that our segment. So but we have it's the Dudes Read the News, and we have some breaking news regarding one beautiful, intelligent, wonderful ring announcer no longer being in the WWE. And that is one Samantha Irvin, who announced her WWE departure and is leaving the company earlier this week. It was on Monday the 21st. She, right before Monday Night Raw, a couple hours before Monday Night Raw, she wrote on X that she revealed the news on X that she's leaving the company effective immediately, with a lengthy statement offering a goodbye. I'll read part of it, basically saying, WWE Universe, my time has come to an end as your Monday Night Raw ring announcer. I love you all tremendously, and this does not mark the end of my art. I have a lifetime more to share. Thank you to every fan who accepted me. She went on to give special thanks to wrestlers She gave special thanks to women in the WWE locker room, the company's crew, a number of people behind the scenes that helped her along the way, like Paul Heyman, Michael P.S. Hayes, Michael Cole, Road Dogg Jesse James, Mark Henry, and several other people. So, yeah, Samantha Irvin is gone. A lot of people, of course, wrestling fans are going to wrestling fan, and they went at Ricochet because of this. They like attacked him online, being like, "This is your fault. You took her from us. She's going to AEW. Have fun announcing in front of an empty arena. You turncoat. All this stuff." And Ricochet had to go on X and be like, "Hey guys, she's not coming to AEW. Like, she's not." Whether or not that's true, we don't know. Probably will be in the near future, but not. It's not currently true. Based on everything I'm hearing, she wants to focus on her music, and she wanted to do a few outside projects that her WWE schedule kind of got in the way of that. So now this kind of frees her up. But this was not a sudden departure. Apparently, she set the record straight on somebody on X that she told WWE months ago that she was leaving. So this was this was
right when Ricochet probably did.
Yeah, probably. And then, addition by subtraction, right? Because we lose Samantha Irvin, who had probably the greatest ring announcing call in the history of WWE when she had called Cody Rhodes in tears after he dethroned Roman Reigns. It was just made that moment extra special, and probably we'll go down in WWE lore forever for that. But we are getting Lillian Garcia back as a full-time ring announcer on Monday Night Raw. So there is some good news that comes out of this. We get, we lose one GOAT, but we get another one. Lillian Garcia is back. They're effective this past Monday on Raw. Had a great ovation. Did a pretty decent job for somebody who hasn't been there in 8 years or however long it's been. But yeah, so Lillian Garcia is back. Samantha Irvin is gone. And Godspeed to Samantha Irvin. And if she goes to AEW, she goes to AEW. I mean, it's her choice. She can do what she wants. But it's a big loss for WWE, no matter what.
Oh yeah, sorry. It's just so you know, there's like a gnat in my house. So anyone watching the video, that's what I'm like waving away.
I thought you were doing like karate chops. Get out of here!
Yeah, I'm like karate.
She's going to AEW. Get out of here! Yeah.
Go Samantha Irving. Yeah, that's me stopping all your haters. No, for one, for all you OG fans, you're probably the only ones who know who Lillian Garcia is, but she was basically the Samantha Irving before Samantha Irving was Samantha Irving. I'm glad we got her back. Samantha Irving's a huge lie. Here's the thing. People have been giving her crap forever. Remember, they were attacking her when she was in WWE. So now to act like you care that she left is like bananas to me. You're attacking her one day. Oh, she's crying. Oh,
that's
she
what
does
they do.
this. And now, but we can go. We talk off record all the time about wrestling content creators and comments, and it is what it is, right? Those are the people we're trying to relate to. So
yeah, fans are the worst. Yeah, they are.
We really, really are. Wrestling fans.
Because I saw a report the other day on X that Chris Jericho's contract's up in AEW. In the near future, and the amount of comments I saw of "Come home, come back to WWE, we need you, come back to you're one." I'm like, everybody hates Chris Jericho right now. Like, I thought he was washed. I thought we want him to retire. I thought we want him to go away and never be on our screens. But now his contract's up, and all of a sudden he's one of the GOATs again. Like, I don't know. Like, wrestling fans are just very fickle.
They only hate him because he's an AEW. That's
exactly
the stupid politics of pro wrestling fans now, that they think they're in it, and they think that wrestlers care if you hate AEW or hate WWE. That's a whole nother story. I mean, I'm done with some people who are in my comments all the time. I'm just over these people. They're fans of mine on TikTok, and I'm like, I can't comment on you anymore. You're just like too much for me. And I'm not going to say tribalism, it's a dumb word. But anyway, I'll keep it short because we got a big show to do. But yeah, Samantha Irving leaving is a huge loss. Not only was she great with her emotions, her passion when they would cut to her, because she was literally shocked when people premiered. She would literally be out of her seat when moves would happen. But she gave wrestlers their own vibe. And that was something no other announcers do. The Buffers, the Lillian Garcias, all these famous announcers call everybody the same. You don't hear Michael Buffer, or Bruce Buffer, whoever, in the UFC, and he's not like, and now we got Max Holloway. Like she gave
Chelsea
their
Green.
own,
Yeah.
and it wasn't just Chelsea Green. She did it to a lot of people.
Gunther's
Gunther
entrance,
and
Roman Reigns.
she gave people, so she 100% will be missed. Long story though, I'm not her, so you do you. Everyone's hating on Ricochet. I'm now assuming that Ricochet went to AEW because she was leaving. I think it's the other way around. I think Ricochet was like, if you're gonna bounce, then I might as well just see what I can do in AEW. Hopefully they'll push me harder. Do I think but I do think her leaving WWE is a loss. I had people tell me that it was like, oh, you're stupid. WWE is not the end all say all. No, but it's a platform. And I get that she's trying to do her own thing, but I feel like eventually WWE will get rid of that kind of stuff where you can't double dip and do other things. And you still need, I've seen a lot of people leave WWE and then get forgotten. You know what I mean? Like the WWE is a platform that helps you. Hopefully she's hugely successful in what she does, but I do think we'll see her again one day. And if she goes to AEW, empty arenas, what the shit do I care if it's in an empty arena? I get to hear her now still announce wrestlers. I'm all for that. So get over the whole AEW WWE thing.
So stupid.
Props to Samantha Irvin. Yeah. I mean, if I was a business person, I don't know her. I probably would have stayed, but I also don't know her situation.
Yeah.
So
and we don't know what's going, like AEW might be getting a new show called Shockwave and it might come on Fox and might be coming on. Maybe this is a Fox decision because SmackDown was on Fox and she was the ring announcer on Fox and they loved her. And then she moved to Raw. So I don't know what's going on, but maybe she does show up for Shockwave and is the ring announcer for that show specifically. Who knows? But either way, good for Samantha Irvin. It is a loss for WWE. I am glad that Lillian Garcia is back, but you talk about somebody who got lost. She left to go start her music career. And
what happened?
Yeah, we never really heard. I mean, she started a podcast and did other things, but now she's back in the WWE. So, I think we'll see Samantha Irvin back in the future, either in WWE or AEW at some point. But either way, it is a big loss
for sure. All right, let's get into the week. You ready?
Yes, sir.
That was all the news, right? Yeah, we're not going into gossip and stuff. All right.
Hell no. We could.
Good first dudes read the news episode. I like it. All right. Smack Sound time. Are you ready for some Smack Sound?
Always.
Let's get into it. The Bloodline opens a show and Solo talks about Jey and Roman when Jey comes out and says he still cares about Solo, but Jacob and the Tongans are a menace. DIY win a 3-way. Roman and Jimmy arrive and bump into Jey, who says, no yeet. Tiffany Stratton is sick, so Candice LeRae will be Nia Jax's partner tonight. That wasn't random. Lash Legend defeats Piper Niven because Piper Niven's not allowed to win matches. Roman tells Jimmy to move on from Jey. Cody Rhodes out to talk the Crown Jewel title, and the crowd goes mild. Kevin Owens with a segment from home, and he can't believe what Randy Orton did, and he's not sure when he'll come back. Randy Orton then wants Kevin Owens at Crown Jewel, but I guess he has to go above Adam Pearce's pay scale or Nick. I don't know what's happening. All right, Motor City Machine Guns debut, and they win a 3-way as well. And in the main event, Nia Jax and Candice LeRae defeat Bayley and Naomi when Candice LeRae pins Bayley. Yes, you heard that right. It was a very good night for that household, though. DIY wins, Candice LeRae wins. Probably the first time they've ever had that. Roman Reigns out for a promo, and he tells Solo he wants the family back together, and he acknowledges him. When Solo says, you better acknowledge me as a tribal chief, Roman's like, nah, Sam, slow it down. So he gets his ass beat. The Tongans drag out a beat-up Jimmy Uso, and the show closes with the Bloodline standing tall over Roman, and that's the Smack Sound review. Let's go. Where do you want to start? There's a lot going on in this episode.
Yeah, this was very Bloodline heavy, but this reminded me a lot of some of the old episodes of SmackDown that we got on Fox when it was in its heyday and it was at its best, when it was clearly the A show. Because we got some, not only did we get Roman Reigns in the ring cutting a promo, but we also got some backstage segments with him and Jimmy Uso. We got Jimmy Uso jump scared Roman Reigns for some reason at one point, which was really freaking funny.
Was that planned? I don't know. Jimmy's Jimmy. He's funny.
Yeah, he just does his own thing. But, there was a lot of nuances towards the wise man, Paul Heyman saying, you can't sit there. That's where he sat, those kinds of things. And then we got Roman in the ring and cutting promos, and we got the stuff with Jey backstage, which I really enjoyed. So yeah, this was a very, very, it reminded me a lot of some of the old episodes of SmackDown that we were getting during the Bloodline's heyday. So I thought it was a solid episode from start to finish.
And I thought it made the Bloodline look strong. Jey telling him like, yo, this is the reason why we didn't bring these guys in. This is why we didn't do it, because they're dangerous and they're whatever. And I think that helped Solo. I think that made Solo feel more impactful and more like a menace himself, because everybody's like, oh, it's all just Jacob Fatu. Well, no, it's not. The Tongan straight beat up Jimmy and dragged him out. Solo took out Roman Reigns. They're making them feel stronger and stronger. And yes, when we get into Raw, we're going to talk about this more, so maybe I'll save it. But everything they are doing right now is to build to Survivor Series and build to what we're going to have at Mania between the Bloodline split up. So whether you like what they're doing or not, it's insane to think that over 3 years ago, we had Jey like want to betray Roman and leave him. And we are still here today in the same damn storyline. And people are still out there saying the Bloodline storyline is not the greatest pro wrestling storyline ever. The NWO was around for about the same amount of time, and they had probably a year of good run.
Yeah.
The rest of the 2 years was straight trash. And the Bloodline is still doing it to this day. It's just amazing. And I'm excited for Jey to come back. I think it's good television, which will bring Sammy, who's not around, back. I'm digging it. I do hope they bring in Zilla, but we'll get into that as well. But we're good stuff all around. And it's funny that you said that, it was like good, like Fox in its heyday. SmackDown's the same thing it's been. The only difference is Roman's here. That just shows those 3 years where people were bitching about Roman's title reign and he needs to lose it and he's not good. Look at Cody now. Look at who carries. Roman is on another level.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, but Roman's been back since SummerSlam. And, we haven't gotten a lot of backstage vignettes or segments with Roman Reigns at all. We usually see him showing up, and then he either cuts a promo with Cody Rhodes, or he beats somebody down, or he gets his ass kicked. That's really what's been going on. This episode was very, very, a lot of backstage segments with the Bloodline, him in his locker room. It was just great stuff. I love the interaction with Jey, where he tells Jey that he's proud of him. That was a genuine moment. I thought it was good writing from the WWE's part, having Jey blow it off, be like, no yeet, because why should Jey give two craps what Roman Reigns thinks of him right now? And we'll talk more about this when we get to Raw, because the outrage that people have about this is just really, really asinine to me, because it's storytelling 101, and everything that's going on makes complete sense.
100%. Let's talk about Candice LeRae. I know you want to.
I want to.
We don't talk about it long, but I
want to talk more about Bayley, man. Like, I feel like we talk about her every single week, and just when I think things are going to get better, they just get worse. And everyone's talking about mid-card championships in the women's division, but like, she is, technically Candice LeRae has the women's speed championship. So I guess that is the mid-card title. They really
talked about that.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. Good for Candice, I guess. And hopefully this leads to bigger and better things for her, but I doubt it. But I just really hate it for Bayley, because Bayley at one point was fantastic. Like, if there's anybody that, like, if their contract runs out and Bayley says, you know what, I'm done with WWE, I could look at this year and be like, you know what, I don't blame you. You were used. You've been used absolutely horribly. So go do your thing somewhere else. I'm not saying I want that to happen. I'm not saying that is going to happen. But if it did, I would not blame her one iota, because the fall for her has just been really, really sad to watch.
I agree.
Through no fault of her own.
Yeah, just like I want Britt Baker to go to WWE, I would be all for Bayley going to AEW. I think it's just they don't care. Do you remember? Oh, is that why she DM'd me? But here's the thing, right? I was wondering. I was DM me. Or is she gonna DM this D? Hey, either way, here's the thing, right? Is that call me Britt? That she literally in March, we were talking about how, like, oh my gosh, she's gonna main event WrestleMania.
Yeah, we thought she could main event one of the nights.
Triple H was like, nah, hold my beer. Not only is she not going to headline, she's going to be nothing, and this is going to be the worst title run she'll ever have. I just don't get it. I don't. She's so talented, and there's like a level to random and shocking. In this Candice LeRae thing, I get that Tiffany Stratton got injured or sick, and they didn't know what to do. but this wasn't it. You can have her help and have Nia Jax get the pin, but you had Candice LeRae, who has nothing to do with this storyline, pin Bayley. That's random. It's not shocking. It was a straight miss by Triple H, who's missing more than he's hitting nowadays sometimes. But yeah.
Yeah. Especially with the women's division. I don't understand what direction he's going in there. But and like going back to March, we had the WrestleMania press conference with The Rock and Cody Rhodes and that whole thing. Going into that, the only announced match was Io Sky versus Bayley for the women's championship, because Bayley made her decision after winning the Rumble, the same SmackDown that Cody was like, not at WrestleMania. She made her decision. And who do they promote at the WrestleMania press conference? Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair. Yeah, and because they had their new reality reality show with Montez Ford that they were promoting, and not Bayley. And it's just I don't understand it. And yeah, this was not a good. I don't mind Bayley losing, but Candice LeRae pinning her, that's certainly a decision.
All right, before we go, Kevin Owens, let's hear it.
Oh man, I love what they're doing with KO. I absolutely 100% love it. I like the realism that they're doing. I like that Cody Rhodes cut a promo and didn't mention Kevin Owens at all. At first, I was kind of like, when I watched it, I was like, why isn't he talking about him? But then I was like, you know what? Like, Kevin Owens is not supposed to be doing this. We're supposed to think this is real. And so I really like how they're doing it. I'm curious to see what's next for Kevin Owens. The one thing that was really confusing to me was Randy Orton backstage talking to Nick Aldis, and Nick Aldis was like, it's above my pay grade. We have to go to the higher. And he was like pointing up. And I guess the person that they're talking about is Triple H, but they were pointing up to the heavens. Like, so are they thinking that Triple H is God or something? Like, he is the King of Kings. But I don't know. It was just that whole thing was just really, that backstage segment was bizarre, because Kevin Owens or Randy Orton wants KO at Crown Jewel, but Nick Aldis has to go above his pay grade to make that happen. I don't understand that. But other than that, I love what they're doing with KO.
Yeah, and really quick, once again, I don't want to dive into it. That promo that nobody gave a shit about had nothing to do with Cody Rhodes. And if you do think it is, because I saw people on the internet like, this is why Cody Rhodes is the bat. I'm sorry to break it to you. No matter what you feel about Cody Rhodes, because we agree that he's a boring champion, the dude gets popped and cheered every single time he speaks. This was no matter what time ever. So don't try to say it was Cody Rhodes when it finally doesn't. No. Nobody gives a crap about that Crown Jewel match. We hated the Saudi pay-per-views beforehand. We hate them even more now. And Triple H found the only way to make fans hate it even more. And that's by making a fake belt and making champion versus champion. Worse, but like I said, Triple H isn't missing a lot. I just want to get that out of the way. Kevin Owens, the realness is what's working. The slap, when he hit him next to the bus, so real. It wouldn't have looked real in the ring. It looked real there. The fight looked real. Everything he's doing looks real. And I love that he is doing the Drew McIntyre approach of becoming a heel, where he is actually the babyface speaking facts of being betrayed, and you're going to hate him for it because people just hate people that are real. And I love it. I love what he's doing with it. And I cannot wait for him and Cody to lock up until Royal Rumble, when Roman goes back to, or when Cody gets back on the Rock again. It's a perfect setup for Cody Rhodes to have something to do for the next few months while we're building up to Rock versus him or Roman, whatever, at WrestleMania.
My only concern about Kevin Owens being a heel is he's not a legitimate threat to take the belt off of Cody Rhodes. And I know that maybe that's not his end goal. Maybe his end goal is just to destroy Cody Rhodes and beat him down every chance he gets. But like, he's not taking the belt off of Cody. No matter, like, even if they have a match at Survivor Series or if they have a match at the first Raw on Netflix or something, like, you know, they're holding off Cody to drop the belt either to The Rock or to Roman Reigns again. So that's
hard
the
to
only
no
thing.
one.
Yeah, he can hold it forever. But that's the only concern I have, is like, Kevin Owens is doing all this. So what's the payoff? I really hope it leads to good things for him. Maybe he wins maybe he goes after LA Knight in the future and wins a mid-card championship or something. But I just don't think he can afford too many more losses.
Yeah, but here's the thing. No matter who Cody faces, same result. We're not, no one's stakes, so it doesn't matter who. So you might as well have it be as real as possible, because I guarantee you Kevin Owens and Cody will get us believing. So they'll find a way.
Yeah.
And why not? Why not have Kevin beat him and then lose it back at Royal Rumble? Why not? You know what I mean? At least give Cody a little bit of a chase, a build, and then when Cody goes into the Rock, he says, look what Kevin Owens did to me, and I was over to overcome it, win my title back. You ain't going to do crap to me, Rock. I'm not afraid of you or Roman.
Don't put that in because that's going to happen, and then Cody Rhodes is going to win the Royal Rumble for the third straight year.
I didn't mean that. Yeah. We all know the Rock is winning the Royal Rumble.
And then Kevin Owens is going to drop the title to Roman at Royal Rumble, and then then we'll get Cody versus Roman 3 for the third straight year because Roman.
No. Kevin will win and then drop it to Goldberg at
there you
Elimination Chamber. All right, let's get into Raw. You ready? Goldberg. All right, Raw recap.
He might play a factor at Crown Jewel. Is what the reports are saying.
Yeah, I half want to like do that show as a watch along just so we can just laugh at the event. It's gonna be so stupid. All right. By the way, I'm digging the 2-hour Raw like I said I would. I feel like it's so much better than 3-hour Raw. I want to get it out there. It feels quicker, feels more to the point. We don't have pointless segments. Let's go. Seth Rollins attacks Bronson Reed backstage and hits the ring. They brawl for an hour, and then Reed ends up splashing through the table. Damage Control will fight Liv and Raquel later on tonight. Lillian Garcia is back. We already discussed. New Day defeat the AOP after the match. The Wyatt 6 attack Miz and the Final Testament. As you know, your boy Xavier Woods like, no, it's not worth it. No, doesn't mean anything. No, it's their problem. Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins brawl again backstage. Jey is ready to defend his gold. Raquel Rodriguez talks why she's with Liv in a phenomenal promo and explanation. Damage Control and Liv and Raquel ends in a DQ when Lash Legend and Jackson interfere. After the match, Rhea Ripley comes out and lays out Raquel, Liv, and Daddy Dom. Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins are still brawling backstage. I guess they just haven't stopped. And Adam Pearce finally says they'll face at Crown Jewel. The Judgment Day are talking, and Dom says he should face Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship, and they all laugh. But then Liv doesn't find it funny, and Carlito says he'll go fix it. The LWO defeat American Made. What in the fudge are we doing here? Carlito gets Dom a chance to earn a title shot, but we don't know who he'll face. It's going to be a former world champion. Gunther attacks Cody when Priest interrupts and says he'll get his title back. And in the main event, Bron Breakker destroys the internet. Fans galore cry when he defeats Jey Uso with the help from the Bloodline to win the IC title and close the show. And that's the Monday Night Raw 2-hour episode review. Ooh.
I will say, to your point about the 2-hour Raw, this was the best episode of the 2-hour Raws so far. I feel like the first episode kind of, there was a lot of missed opportunities and a lot of stuff that ran over and just things weren't hitting right. Then they're starting to find their groove, and this was a really solid episode from start to finish of Raw. I love the opening of Seth Rollins beating down Bronson Reed, hitting him with a suitcase, which that pretty painful. And
the suitcase he rolled in with, he beat his ass with his own luggage. How embarrassing!
I know. And then, I like that they kept on fighting throughout the entire night, and then Adam Pearce finally snapped. I like this new side of Seth Rollins, that he's a lot more serious. He's not doing the stupid laugh anymore. He's not wearing the campy outfits anymore. He's being a lot more serious, and I'm kind of digging it. He's been this way since he came back, and I hope they keep it going.
It's the only Seth that should be is this one. I don't I wear Becky Lynch's clothes, Seth. I like this Seth.
Yeah, well, Becky's not. She's probably out of clothes. She's probably
yeah. Who knows what Becky's do? By the way, where the heck is Becky Lynch?
She's in AEW. She's wrestling under the name Jamie Hayter.
Yeah. She's about to win a title. I forgot. I like her new name. I like this a lot, and I don't care because I know people are probably like, "Oh, Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman just did this same exact thing where all they did was brawl." And then, okay, perfect. I hope Bronson Reed does that in all his feuds. But in the end, what I have to say is this, and I posted about it. And I'm going to say it again on the podcast. Seth Rollins has to lose. The end. No debate. You won't convince me otherwise. Seth Rollins has to lose. The end. He knows it. Yeah. Bronson Reed knows it. Triple H knows it. Doesn't mean they're going to do it. I don't know. But Seth needs to lose. I don't care if Seth wins the next two. Seth needs to lose.
He needs to lose the first one. Yeah,
I
agree.
That's it.
And this match doesn't need to be a one and done. Have them do it at Crown Jewel.
No.
Have them do it again at Survivor Series. Have them do it again on the Raw on Netflix. I mean, have them do 3 matches or whatever. But it doesn't need to be a one and done feud because this is personal between these guys, and It's crazy. All Bronson Reed did was attack Seth Rollins and give him 8 tsunamis, and that's the story of this match. And it doesn't. That's not much of a story, but it's a story, and they're telling it in a really good way. And I can't wait for these guys to go at it. I think the match is going to be great. I think we're talking more about Bronson Reed than we ever have before, and he has Seth Rollins to thank for it. And I think it's great stuff.
We called it the day it happened. We called it on this podcast. We said he's a star. The end.
Yeah.
He's going to be. That's all you need is one moment. And it wasn't even supposed to happen. Supposedly Seth is the one, right? He said in an interview with that dude that interviews everybody that Seth is, I think, the one who said, no, just keep splashing me. Because I think it's supposed to be like one splash. And then it ended up, it was like, just keep going, or Triple H or someone just kept telling him in the ear, do it again. Do it again.
It was a good way to write him off TV.
Do it again.
Oh,
heck yeah. It was brilliant. Brilliant. All right, let's hear what else you want to talk about. A lot of stuff happened.
Yeah, let's get into the elephant in the room, and that's the Jey Uso stuff with the Bloodline. Because we talked about this in our Smackdown review that people are outraged at what's going on here. That Jey Uso lost the Intercontinental Championship after only 28 days, and that the Intercontinental Championship was used as fuel, I guess, to further the Bloodline story, used as a prop to further the Bloodline story. And why take the title off of Bron Breakker in the first place? You could have done it a different way. I actually thought it was the right decision to take the IC title off of Jey. And I just, again, we go back to wrestling fans and how fickle they are. For months, we've been asking for the Bloodline to reunite, the OG Bloodline, Jimmy and Jey get back together, Roman, Jimmy, Jey, and Sammy against this new Bloodline at Survivor Series. Like, that's all we've wanted. And now we're finally setting the stage for it, and we're finally almost getting there. And people want to crap on the way that it's done because Jey Uso dropped the Intercontinental Championship. He'll be fine. He'll get more opportunities. This was a beautiful way to do it.
I fully agree. And I do, which I did say, is that this is like the third time I think Triple H has done this, where he like gave somebody a title just to have them lose it again to serve a better purpose. And I'm fine with that. Sometimes you have to sacrifice something for the bigger picture. And this is it. This is the Bloodline is what's going to be wrestling is around. Get over it. That's what we're revolving around ourselves. That's how it's going to be moving forward. That's why Jey lost it. But instead of giving him the belt, why didn't they just have him build up to Bron Breakker? And then when the match was going to happen, he finally earned it. Then have him be cost his only opportunity at winning his first singles gold when he should have won it. I think that would have been more impactful, and the internet wouldn't have been as angry. But I think Triple H just wanted Jey Uso to now be able to say he's a former Intercontinental Champion. It's on his resume. And once again, fickle fans, stop pretending like A, you care about ratings, like B, you care about how many people go to events, and 3, that you care about how long title reigns are. Get the fudge over it. Yeah. You don't care. You don't remember. Tell me how many days Damian Priest had the damn title. Get over yourselves.
135.
Yeah, they'll Google it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Suplex. Well, yeah, nobody cares. So it's just fans just want to complain to complain. So it is.
Yeah. But I actually kind of disagree with you on the fact that Jey Uso, they should have built up Jey versus Braun and had Jey lose that way. Because again, at that moment that when Jey won the title, I mean, that entire crowd was yeeting. That entire crowd was, they were pro Jey, and it was a great moment for him and for his career. And then less than a month later, not even a full month later, the Bloodline, his brother, and other members of I don't know what Jacob is, his cousin, I guess.
I forget. Yeah, they're all somewhat. Yeah.
But yeah, like his own Bloodline ruined that moment for him. They took that moment away from him by taking the only thing that he's done without the family away. So he won the belt without the family, and it's the family that cost him the belt. So I thought it was actually poetic. And but also people are like, well, he could have kept the belt and gone after the Bloodline another way. And I don't really see another way of how that could have happened. People are like,
with that, yeah.
Roman Reigns could have apologized. We saw Roman Reigns have a genuine moment on SmackDown with Jey where he was like, hey, I'm proud of you. And Jey didn't want anything to do with it. So like, it's going to take more than some apology for Jey to want to help Roman Reigns. And then people are like, well, the Roman and Jimmy should have interfered and helped him retain. Yeah, that would have been great for the character development of Roman Reigns as a babyface. But again, you did okay, great. You helped me win a match. Why should I still not going to help you? Like that's not enough.
Yeah.
After everything
Yeah.
they put him through. So I think this was the only thing I would have done differently is have Jacob after the match, have Jacob and Solo beat Jey down to send a message to Roman. And I put this on TikTok too. Send a message to Roman Reigns that and Jimmy Uso that you think you can go to him for help. Look at him now. Triple power bomb him through a table. Samoan spike him. Write Jey off TV for a couple of weeks. And now when he comes back, he's bloodthirsty for revenge because they took his title and they put him on the injured list. So that's the only thing I would have done a little bit differently. But I liked how they did it.
Well, I fully agree with your first. I like what you said about the title. You convinced me. I think it was better now. Good job. I think I do like that, and it's poetic. As soon as Roman said, "I'm proud of you," I was like, he's dropping the title. I made a TikTok about it. I'm like, are they going to make him? I said, I don't think so. And then as soon as Jey talked about SmackDown on his promo before his match, I was like, well, he's dropping the title. You're not talking about, if you're bringing it up, there's a reason. I was like, well, he's dropping his title. But to disagree with you at the last part, I think they didn't beat him up because I think this is going to be Jay's not making this decision next. This is a Jey tug of war.
Yeah, it's going to be a
Solo.
while.
Solo's going to say, hey, if you would have been on our side, we would have said, I didn't like this and that, and this is you. You need to come to our side because we're going to keep it. Roman never got you a title. We could have
and also where was Roman?
Yeah.
Like Roman wasn't
100%.
there to help him.
Yeah.
And there was at one point in this match that Bron Breakker inadvertently speared Solo. But because he pushed Jey out of the way. So you could say that Solo was trying to protect Jey from Bron Breakker.
I do think he was 100%.
Yeah, he took the spear for him. And that's what led to the, sign me up for Jacob Fatu, Bron Breakker. That's like, when those two guys stared each other down, I was doing the Vince McMahon gif in my pants. But
I was going to say, did you yeet in your pants? Because I was yeeting all over my living room when that thing happened. I was like,
yes, sir. 5 seconds later, I was like, a yeet.
It won't happen for like 8 years, but
it'll be WrestleMania 49. Yeah, it'll be the main event. But
God,
sign me up for that
moment.
Yeah,
who knows? I wanted that too. Yeah,
but yeah, like Solo could make the call that hey, I was trying to protect you, and you put your hands on us. So yeah, I made the call for Jacob to beat you down or something. But so I think you're right. I think there will be a tug of war, and it's not going to be a decision that Jey makes next week.
All right. The only other thing to talk about, Judgment Day. Let's go. What do you think?
I'm going to be honest, man.
Let's hear it.
I didn't like it.
Like everybody else?
No.
All right. Let's
I'm not doing because I'm sick of Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. I'm not booking Liv Morgan strong. She's a chicken shit heel. Rhea Ripley's a babyface. That's wrestling 101. That's how it works. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about I feel like we're right back to where we were this time last year with the Judgment Day when Rhea and Damian Priest were in it. There's dissension in the group. There's unhappiness. They're losing matches. It just, I don't understand it. And then the Raquel Rodriguez thing was a little weird to me too, because, she shows up first. She's like the chauffeur for Liv Morgan. And then they cut off damage control when they're doing she cuts off damage control when they're doing an interview. And she's just Raquel Rodriguez is just standing there in her sunglasses, looking fine, but in her sunglasses, not saying a word. So I'm like, okay, she's not talking. She's back. She's not talking. She's just being the bodyguard for the Judgment Day. And then 10 minutes later, they do a backstage vignette with Raquel Rodriguez cutting a promo, and she brought up old stuff from long-term storytelling. I appreciate it. And then
I loved it. Yeah.
And then 5 minutes later, she's ripping the Judgment Day a new one backstage. What do you do here? And yelling at Carlito and all. It was just, I don't know. It was just very, very I don't want there to be dissension in the Judgment Day. I want the Judgment Day to be a cohesive unit. I want them all to be on the same page. There's rumors that they're going to kick Carlito out of the Judgment Day. That's been all over the social media platforms lately that, he's going to move on to other things, or I don't know what they're going to do, but they're going to kick him out. I don't understand that. I like him in the Judgment Day. I think he brings some comic relief. So I just don't like the dissension amongst the group. We had that a lot with Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, and now it kind of feels like we're getting it's Liv and Dom and Raquel kind of against Finn, JD, and Carlito at the moment. I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know if I fully agree. I don't know if it's that much. Other than her just telling Carlito, but that was because he laughed. I don't think she truly walked in like, "Hey, fool! What are you?" She was just minding her business, and then Liv who laughed. Liv pulled the perfect Jada Pinkett Smith, where she like laughed at it and then was like, gave him the look, like, "Nah, fam, you don't.
Yeah.
Now you need to go slap Chris Rock. You don't get to talk about." It was funny at first, but now it's not.
Yeah.
And Carlito laughed the hardest, and then Raquel, who's Liv's new buddy, defended her, and that was it. And it was then was like, "What the hell you do? What do you do here?" So then it became like a thing. I don't really feel like, and I know Finn and JD, but they're crews, man. Crews are they're all still like on the same page. I don't like that Finn keeps bringing up Damian Priest, but I think that's going to lead to what I said on Saturday. And I don't know if I should throw it on the podcast, what I think Daddy Dom's going to do, but
we'll talk about
that.
I
mean, either way, I think I liked it. And I liked Raquel Rodriguez because it was kind of like, well, is it because they had a pass? Well, yeah, she straight up said, Rhea, I came for you because you injured my girl and put her on the shelf. You cost us the tag team championships. You brought up history. And that just builds to the fact that everyone complaining that Rhea's dominating. Of course she is, because she's going to lose this feud. It is over at Crown Jewel, and Rhea will move on to Raquel Rodriguez. And then after that, she will move on past the Judgment Day, whether she goes to SmackDown and faces Charlotte or whatever, Nia Jax or whoever she's going to do. She's moving on. It is donezo. And what I think with Daddy Dom is that I think he's going to face his dad. It could be Finn Balor or Damian Priest.
Yeah, I have
Okay, all right, let's hear it. Well, so I think it's going to be Ray. Either way, I think then he's going to face Priest and somebody else because they said it was going to be like a 3-way to earn a number 1 contendership or something. I think that's what they said. So then Dom's going to win that, and I think Dom's going to beat Gunther, and I think that'll lead to Gunther's babyface turn, and maybe he'll do something else, and I think it's going to give huge. I don't think people understand the level of heat Daddy Dom will get if he's the world championship and if he cheated. And then we're going to have 2 chicken shit heels who shouldn't be champions being champions, and the love they're going to have and the promos they're going to cut. And I'm talking, we might get Edge and Lita in the middle of the ring action on Netflix. This is going to be, and imagine if Daddy Dom wins the title at the first ever Netflix. I mean, just on Raw, imagine everything that can happen with this. I'm looking forward to it. I think Judgment Day is better than ever, and I've been saying this since day one. This is the way they should have been booked. The fact that people don't like it just mean that they don't like wrestling in general. They're just bitches. Bitch. But but I think it's fantastic. Let's hear a theory really quick because I think we have to keep going. But
yeah. So my theory, they said he has to face a former world champion. Mm-hmm. They didn't say what kind of world champion. And I like your theory of your dad, of his dad being the opponent. It could also be Damian Priest. It depends on what iteration of the world heavyweight title we're talking about. But I don't think he's facing either of them. I think he's going to face Rhea Ripley, the former women's world champion, who has, and I think that's who, and he has to beat Mommy in order to get a shot against Gunther.
You think they're going to have, WWE's going to have a man hitting a woman, huh?
Yeah, well, I think we're going to have a woman hitting a man, and which we've gotten many times before. We're going to have We're going to have Rhea Ripley beating the snot out of Dom, and I think Liv Morgan will help him win, furthering their feud. Liv Morgan will help him win, and he'll cheat to win, and he'll like roll her up. I don't think he'll lay a hand on her, but I think she'll lay hands on him. Liv Morgan will come out. That's my prediction. I think he's going to face Rhea Ripley.
I don't mind that. I think that's even better for Dom to beat Rhea and then Priest on his way to becoming the world heavyweight champion. I think that's hilarious. And imagine too the build of Gunther and Daddy Dom. That's like, oh my gosh. And Gunther just laughing at him, effing around with him, not taking him seriously, and that's why he loses. And I don't like, once again, Daddy Dom could have the belt for 28 days. I can give 2 shits, and Gunther could win it back. I'm just saying the heat. And for people to say Dom doesn't deserve it, he 100% deserves it. He's been carrying WWE on his back for 100. The end. Yeah. The end. All right. You ready to go to NXT, or do you want to talk the White Six, or what's your thing?
So I'm excited. Real quick, I'll do a quick wrap up, but I'm excited about the Wyatt Six versus the Final Testament. I think that's a perfect next feud for them. Curious to see what the Miz does in this whole thing, because Paul Ellerling took the mandible claw for him, so curious to see what happens. And then, can we just turn Xavier Woods heel already? I'm like, you talk about dragging something out. Now this story is starting to drag out a little too long. I was excited for it. It was one of the most anticipated things, and now I'm ready for it to happen. Like either have it happen or have it not. And I know it's going to happen at their 10-year anniversary, but that's like in November. So we got another couple of weeks to go. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we got more of this. So it's starting to drag out a little bit for my liking. But other than that, it was good. Yeah.
They're going to have a segment on Raw. Kofi's going to be pissed off at him for not helping and so on. We'll see. Yeah. All right. NXT time. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. Damage Control and Damage. I'm saying them a lot. And Metaphor end in a DQ when Piper Niven and Chelsea Green interfere. They can't win matches, but they can interfere on NXT. Hank and Take hang out with some dude named Cole Custer, I guess. Ashanti the Adonis continues his harassment tour and hits on Carmen Petrovic. Jada Parker defeats Tatum Paxley. After the match, Wendy Chu kidnaps Paxley. I am not making this up. She threw in a freaking tub and wheeled her. I don't know what the hell. Lexis King gets a Heritage Cup match, but needs a cornerman. Javon Evans slaps Frazier for whatever reason, and Wesley approves. Stephanie Vaquer and Julia cut a promo. Riz has been attacked. Oba Femi defeats Luca after the match. Oba ties Tony D to the ring and legitimately defeats and lays out the family right in front of him. Andre Chase says him and Ridge will have an ambulance match. Ethan Page and Trick Williams in the ring, and Page tells him he's not ready for this match, and Trick says Page has never pinned him. Roxanne, Cora Jade, Fatal Influence, and Kalani Jordan all bicker backstage. Sol Ruka defeats Carmen Petrovic. Oba Femi gives Nikita Lyons her jacket and says she dropped it and the internet broke. Hank and Take defeat OTM. We got Axiom and Frazier deciding that they will defend their tag team championships against Javon Evans and Cedric Alexander for the titles. Lexis King tells Ava he can't find a cornerman and then brings up his family and hers, and something I kind of want to jump into. And in the main event, Julia and Stephanie Vaquer defeat Fatal Influence, and we get the arrival of Zariah to close the show. You didn't see it, but I did, and that's the NXT review.
Yeah. I didn't get that Zariah arrival on my feed, and it's not because my DVR, I didn't record it properly or anything. It's just I think NXT ran a little bit long, and they had to cut it right at the 10 o'clock hour on network television because you got to have your late local news air immediately.
100%. Yes.
So I got up to the point where they were about to spin the wheel, and then they cut to the vignette of Delta, or Zariah, I guess is her name now. And then it just went off the air. So it was I was like, huh. And I kept thinking maybe that was a glitch. Like maybe they're going to go back and finish the NXT segment or something. But no, I got my late local news. I found out about a new hurricane forming in the Atlantic coast and all these other things. So, I was kind of disappointed in that, but it is what it is. I got to see it on social media, but it kind of took me out of it a little bit.
Was that more disappointing, or the fact that Fatal Influence is fighting for a title and they lose again? Have they ever won? Why are they earning a title shot? I don't. And
they lost. I don't understand this either. They lost the match to Vaquer and Julia, but they still got to spin the wheel. I don't understand. I thought that was the whole point. Like if they lose, they don't get to spin. I didn't understand the whole spinner's choice thing is throwing me off for Halloween Havoc.
Honestly, minus Oba Femi and Tony D, this whole episode felt off from beginning to end. I thought it was all off. It was definitely a missed night by HBK. And Zariah, is she with Fatal Influence? I don't know. But I did want to talk about Oba Femi just for the fact that they are building him to be a huge monster. I like that he destroyed the family because that's going to be Tony D getting his comeuppance and winning the ladder match, and Oba can move on to the heavyweight championship. But I thought it was Oba Femi is just a star, and I like him and Nikita Lyons. The internet exploded because they thought that HBK is trying to make them a love affair, and people were against that because it's obvious that they're in I don't understand the hate or whatever they're trying to attack HBK for. But it might be a love interest, but I don't think so. I think this is a team forming a force that could not be reckoned with, and I think Nikita Lyons is the one who attacked Riz earlier in the show to help Oba Femi, and that's why she dropped her jacket, and that's why Oba Femi was hinting at, hey, you dropped your jacket, and kept walking. I think it was more on that than it was them. I don't know why everybody just went love interest. Oba Femi didn't even wink. It's not like he gave her like a hey.
Yeah, he dropped the coat. Yeah.
He literally was like, didn't even look at her. He was like, you dropped your jacket, and kept walking. It wasn't like he was like, and it was not like she was like, there was like no sign of love whatsoever. I think they're going to be a team, and I think that team is going to be bomb. So just throwing it out there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like you said, other than Obafemi and Tony D, even there's not much to write home about for this go home episode for Halloween Havoc. Even the Trick Williams, Ethan Page stuff felt a little flat in my opinion. It just, I don't know. I feel like Ethan Page has been carrying this feud on the microphone. Trick Williams has really been struggling, but we'll get into predictions here in a little bit, so I don't want to say too much about that. But I will say the one takeaway I brought from this, the women were used perfectly. We started off with a women's tag match. We ended with a women's tag match. We had 3 or 4 women's matches in a row. I think at one point, somebody on X, the people that are like, there was 1 hour and 48 minutes of wrestling on a 3-hour television show. Those people that do that, they counted, and I think they said 26 women were used on NXT.
Wow.
Which I think was absolutely incredible. So you had the Metaphor, Damage Control, Fatal Influence, Stephanie Vecker and Julia. You had Jada Parker and Tatum Paxley were used pretty well. You have the whole thing with Kalani Jordan and that whole group. So and Nikita Lyons and just all of it. All of it was good stuff. So they really used the women perfectly. That's the one takeaway I brought from this episode.
NXT has been doing better at that, and they are getting to that AEW level too of how well they're pushing the women's division. Stephanie Fakir, this was a night for her. I mean, that promo that she did where they had, well, it was her and Julia, but I thought she really shined in that promo, that where she spoke in her native language and they showed the subtitles and all of that. I thought that was done perfectly. And I like that her pop, man, she's a star. That crowd, no one was cheering for Julia. Every time Stephanie Fakir got in there, the crowd went bananas. So I loved it. I liked it. I like what they're doing with it. Before we move on, I did want to say, not a lot of people are saying it, but Ava and Lexis King were talking, and he ended by saying he couldn't find a corner man. And Ava was like, well, I can't force anybody this and that. And then he said, oh, well, I can see why people don't trust me as being who I am because of my past, because of my dad and something like that. And then he says, so people just don't like my family, but you wouldn't understand that because everybody loves your family. And he walked out. And I thought it was a very curious scene. And Ava kind of like laughed it off like family. But I did wonder, I'm like, are they going to bring up Brian Pillman? Are we going to hear about his dad and Lexis King is trying to be a good guy because of this? Because they brought it up originally where he was like, my dad, I don't want to do it, blah, blah, blah. I'm Lexis King. Are we going to get some Brian Pillman talk? And that was a mention. Is he going to bring up the fact that The Rock is her, dad? I was surprised that I went on TikTok today and nobody was talking about it. I'm like, did everyone miss that line that he said, like, nobody likes my family, but I don't think he said dad. I think nobody likes my family. Everybody likes your family.
He said something too about being a loose cannon, and the loose cannon was Brian Pillman's gimmick.
Brian Pillman.
And so, it wouldn't surprise me. It does make me wonder too, like, everybody loves your family, but the Rock is her dad, and he's the final boss. He's a villain, so it's like we're not. And everyone hates the Rock right now because he stole the show from Cody Rhodes, and but
maybe he meant like ratings wise, like the Rock is a huge star, and Brian Pillman, dad nobody respected, not in the Hall of Fame, so on. Maybe that's
but either way, I'm all for that. We need whatever's going on with Lexis King and this current iteration of him. It's not working. And so if we get this Brian Pillman gimmick, this loose cannon gimmick, maybe he changes his name back to Brian Pillman Jr., which is what it was when he was in AEW, then sign me up, because I think he could use a character change, and that could be the push in the right direction that could get him there.
I agree. I fully agree. All right. Good week in WWE, man. Good week. We're about to get into Halloween Havoc on Sunday that we're excited for. We got predictions coming up. Don't forget we're probably going to do a watch along. So tune in, leave your little subscribe button, hit it so you get attention, and our lives are the best. I think our watch alongs are super fun. And then once again, we're going to have AEW in a couple days of our weekend review for that. So let's get into it, man. You ready? Prediction time.
Oh, I clicked on the wrong one.
Old prediction time.
Yeah, that's our prediction time. Throwback. Let me find the new one. Here we go.
Remix.
Prediction time. Before it ever happens, it's a prediction. Lean in close, take notes, listen. cause they about to point it out quickly. All the things that you didn't see is getting called like plays at the line of scrimmage. You can take it to the bank, the dudes ain't tripping. They've been seeing what's coming for a good minute. It's prediction time, yeah, let's get it.
All right, let's get into it quickly, as he says, our man. All right, first match, pop it up. What are we gonna go?
Let's go
5
with,
matches, like always. I love the 5 match.
Yeah, I think this one is going to open the show.
As do I. So we got Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade, yummy, 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 versus Julia and Stephanie Vaquer. Who do you got?
I think this one's pretty obvious. I think Julia and Stephanie Vaquer are going to get the win. You can't have both of them. You know, Julia's already lost to Roxanne Perez. She can't afford another one. And you just brought Stephanie Vaquer in. She has the potential to be the face of the women's division in NXT. She can't lose in her debut match. I think there'll be some shenanigans. I think there'll be some, heel spots from Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez. I think this could be match of the night, but I think Stephanie Vaquer and Julia have to get the win and keep this thing going.
I fully agree, and I think Stephanie Vaquer pins Roxanne Perez in the match as well, not Cora Jade.
Yeah.
So yep. I think it's going to build to their next feud, and I think Stephanie's going to win that title. Just so you know. All right, what do we got next?
Let's go with this one.
Ooh, Kalani Jordan versus Fatal Influence member Spinner's Choice match, which I'm assuming they can have any match on the will, and it's for the NXT North American Women's Championship. Who you got?
I'm gonna go Kalani Jordan because I feel like that's the only one I can. I don't know who she's wrestling, but I kind of feel like I can't take Fatal Influence seriously. They just lost to Vaquer and Julia on this episode of NXT, and Kalani Jordan's killing it right now. I do think she needs to drop the Women's North American Championship, but I don't think this is the time to do it. So I think Kalani Jordan will retain.
I got to give props to Kalani Jordan. This girl made a save on NXT and was wearing her belt. There's not many champions who go to make a save and run to the ring wearing their belt. She's obviously very excited that she's a champion, and I think she's wearing her belt.
Some of them don't even bring their belt. Yeah.
No.
Looking at you, Candice LeRae.
Yeah. Who needs that speed championship? But and I think she wore it for a reason because it's going bye-bye. I'm gonna go with whoever in Fatal Influence wins. If they lose, what the heck? They lose all the time, and now they're getting you got to win. If they lose, then they need to leave. They break up.
I agree. They need to win, but I just don't see it happening.
Spinner's Choice match. It'll be a Soraya rules match, so they should win that. All right, we got Ridge Holland versus Andre Chase in a ambulance match. Who do you got?
I really do not care about this match at all. And I know that's sad to say because I was excited about this, like when Chase U won the tag team titles and then Ridge Holland turned on him and cost him the belt. Like I was excited about this, but I feel like you talk about dragging something on for a long time and really getting no time to shine on TV, but still dragging this out. I don't really care. Andre Chase is going to win. I'm picking him to win. I feel like he has to. And then we drop this story all the way and they go on. Maybe Chase U gets back into the tag team title picture.
Andre Chase has to win, or this is the end of a feud. And Ridge Holland will move on to whatever the heck he's going to do in the future. But yeah, Andre Chase for Sheezy, throwing him in the ambulance. All right, we'll get a return of who to help out and so on. So, all right, in the match I'm looking forward to, Tony D'Angelo versus Oba Femi in a tables, ladders. It's Scares match. For the NXT North American Championship. Who do you got and why is it Tony D?
He just won the belt. He's not dropping it. I mean, and that's why it's I mean,
I guess you don't know who Jey Uso is.
Jey Uso says hello. But no, they're going to protect Obafemi. He's not going to take a pinfall. That's why it's a ladder match.
Yeah.
The family's going to come back. They're going to cost him the match. But Tony D'Angelo is going to retain. And this is probably going to be my favorite match of the night. I think Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade versus Stephanie Vaquer and Julia have the potential to steal the show. But I think this will be the most entertaining match of the night for sure. Tony D'Angelo retains. It's a matter of how he retains, not if.
Yeah. 100%. And like I always say, and I think I'm 100% on it, if you get beat up on the TV show before the pay-per-view. You're going to win. He got beat up. He's going to win this match. The end. Obafemi moves on to bigger and better things, Nikita Lyons and so on. So we're going to move on past that. And they have the best chemistry. They're going to steal the show for sure.
Yeah,
Their matches
100%.
are bananas. All right. And in the main event, we got the world champion Trick Williams versus Ethan Page in a Devil's Playground match. Who do you got for the World Heavyweight Championship? I got to say, I do like the fact that they keep utilizing Devil. They did it with Punk and Drew McIntyre. And now Page came in dressed like the Devil, wearing a suit, and then Ethan and Trick Williams is all in white. I like the whole good versus evil vibe.
Yeah, I like what they're doing.
But yeah, go ahead. It's little things.
I know I just said that they're not going to take the belt off Tony D because he just won it. I think Ethan Page is going to win the title back. I really do. I think he's winning it back. I feel like he's been carrying this feud on the microphone. Trick Williams has been phenomenal as a champion, but I don't know. I just have this feeling that Ethan Page is going to win the title back somehow, some way. Probably be shenanigans afoot because he's a heel, but I think Trick Williams is better as the chaser and Ethan Page is better as a champion. So I'm going to say Ethan Page wins his championship back. And then this feud ends and Trick Williams moves on to other things, maybe Wesley or somebody like that. And Ethan Page goes after some other people. Maybe Obafemi comes after him.
I think Ethan Page for sure is winning. I think Trick Williams is moving on to the big stage. He was shown on Raw for a reason. He's ready to move on. Maybe he can go feud with Carmelo after Carmelo beats Andrade. Yeah. But whatever they're doing, I 100% think Ethan Page should win. Will he? Who knows? But he 100% should win that match. And we have a new NXT championship that he actually earns this time by pinning him. So they made that point a lot, that you've never pinned me. You've never pinned me. You've never pinned me. You've never pinned me. I think they're foreshadowing. So yeah. All right, let's get into it. Let's close it out, which we always do. Our weekly segments of who we think is the least valuable dude or dudette and most valuable dude or dudette of the week of wrestling. This week, SmackDown, Raw, and NXT. No PLEs happen. So who do you got as your least valuable dude or dudette, Ryan?
I'm going to SmackDown. Second week in a row, I'm going to SmackDown, and I'm going to the women's division, and I'm going to my sweet, beautiful, poor Bayley. She is my LVD of the week. Unfortunately, just, we talk about the fall. The week before I had Naomi as my LVD because she's been taking losses ever since she came back. And I just feel like the fall from grace for Bayley. I've said it before. It's through no fault of her own. She hasn't done a thing wrong. She's been actually fantastic on the microphone and in the ring, but for whatever reason, they're just not taking her seriously. And her getting pinned by Candice LeRae, probably not the end of the world for her, but it's just not a good sign. And, it just has nothing to do with this story. And it just tells me that they're not taking Bayley seriously at all. So she's my LVD of the week. Unfortunately, it really pains me to put her in that.
I mean, once again, our picks are not how we feel about the people. It's how they're being booked. I don't know how I don't have the same one as you, because losing to Candice LeRae is 100% makes you the least valuable person of the week. But I'm going to go with the shocker of the century. I am going with Roman Reigns.
Oh,
and here's why. Roman Reigns returns and in a sign of weakness decides to not only try to beg Jey Uso and try to ask him to come back, then gets turned down, so loss number one, then goes out and basically tells Solo Sikoa that he acknowledges him and said it multiple times. That's loss number two. Then he gets his butt beat up in front of Jimmy. That's number three. Roman Reigns has come back as a babyface, and he is losing after losing after losing. And though I think he's carrying SmackDown, and it's better to have our tribal chief back, if we're talking in realness, how we base this category on, he took multiple L and looked weak AF.
It's part of the story.
Then basically cost his cousin Jey the title because the Bloodline was like, oh, you want to do? All right, well, we'll go beat this dude up and take his belt too. He was taking L's after L's. Roman Reigns, I'm sorry. Probably the only time ever you'll be it, but you were definitely the least valuable dude this week.
Yeah, I mean, that is a surprising pick. I understand the pick. I like it. I don't hate it. But it's all part of the story, right? Like he's getting his ass kicked and he understands now that he needs his family more than ever. So I get it. But you're right. He is I mean, he's making the wrong decisions after wrong decision. He thought acknowledging Solo was going to be a good idea, and see what it got him. And he thought, not at first Jimmy wanted to talk to Jey, and Roman was like, no yeet. And you see what that did. And then Jimmy went to talk to Jey anyway, and that turned so it's bad choice after bad choice. So I like that pick a lot.
He even got scared. Dude was losing all over the place. He could not win.
Tables, ladders, and stairs, man. We got to get Jimmy Uso to like jump scare Obafemi in the ladder match somehow. Just get him out there.
I'm telling you, I hope Oba loses by being scared off the ladder. He falls through a table or something. They're like, boo! I really hope so. All right. Most valuable dude or dude out of the week. Who you got?
I'm going to surprise you, I think, but I'm going to go our tribal chief, Solo Sikoa. I think that man is, I mean, he beat the snot out of Roman Reigns. Yes, Jacob Fatu did a lot of the work, but he hit him with Samoan spikes. He bought tickets to Monday Night Raw, and he supported his younger brother by buying merch, right? That's what gets the money for the wrestlers. He bought merch. He bought a Yeet shirt of Jey Uso, a blue Smackdown Yeet shirt, but I don't think they sell that at the shop anymore. But he still bought a shirt nonetheless. And I mean, I feel like he has been really solid on the microphone and almost unappreciated, because we've been talking so much about Cody Rhodes in the Bloodline. We've been talking about Jacob Fatu in the Bloodline, and Roman Reigns and Jimmy and Jey. But now, like, Solo's really coming into his own. I loved his off-camera remarks that he makes about, I bought a ticket. He shows the ticket. He's like, I got one for me. I got one for him. And he's got a shirt. And then just all the stuff where him being there cost Jey the Intercontinental Championship. And Jacob Fatu put Jey through the tape. I mean, it was just, all of it was good stuff. But I'm gonna go Solo. I feel like he has really come into his own as our tribal chief. Whether we like him or not as the tribal chief, he is technically the unofficial tribal chief. But I'm acknowledging Solo this week as my MVD.
Yeah, well said. And if my least valuable impacted your most valuable, so that makes sense as well. I do have to say, though, I love that he was like, I bought tickets, and then just jumped over the
and then they exited through the ramp.
Why did you say you bought tickets then? Why did he jumped over? It's not like he sat and watched any of the match. That dude was like, I bought tickets, jump, and let me talk to Jey.
And then they left. Then they left through the like, hey, come backstage with us. Like, I want to buy a ticket. I want to jump over the barricade and walk up the tight. Like, let me try that. I'm going to try that next episode.
Mania's coming. Let's do it. All right. My most valuable
That's the fan experience.
Right. Yeah. That's the $5,000 tickets. My are $25,000 tickets. Mine is a most valuable dudette, and I'm going with Stephanie Vaquer. I think she shined. I love her promo. I keep crapping on WWE for not knowing how to push professional wrestlers who don't speak English. And I feel like HBK is finding a way. That promo was, she doesn't need to talk in the ring. She doesn't need to try to attempt to speak English if it's not her main language. Let her do her thing by showing her actual skills and ability. And that's what they did. But that promo was great. They had the subtitles and it worked. It was impactful. It was good music going on. Kind of like what they did with Shinsuke for a little bit there when he was having his promos backstage. I think that's better suited for WWE to get the point across of these wrestlers. But she was cheered in the ring. She had a shining night, and I think she's going to actually dethrone Roxanne Perez when it all comes says and done. So, Stephanie Vaquer, good job. Doing way better than I saw you there a few times in AEW. Props to her and being pushed properly in NXT. So, yeah.
Yeah, the last time we saw her, she lost to Mercedes Moné, but apparently it was that match that made it WWE interested in her in the first place from Forbidden Door. So, kudos to her. You brought Ethan Page in, and he's now going to be NXT champion. Why not bring her in and make her NXT Women's Champion? And it's just goes to show that you can go get the free agents. But she is she's fantastic, and I'm excited. I'm more excited about her than I am Julia, and I'm more excited about her than I am about Zariah. And I'm excited about Zariah. Don't get me wrong, but I think Stephanie has the brighter future of those three. So, for sure. Either way, the women's division just got a lot more depth to it with these three women.
Yes, sir. All right. That's our WWE episode. Once again, we're probably going to do a watch along this Sunday for Halloween Havoc. So tune in to that. I'll be wearing my Halloween gear. Why not, right? And as always,
let's dress up in Halloween costumes.
All right. I was going to wear like a shirt or Halloween.
I'll be Sami Zayn. I'll be Sami Zayn.
Oh, nice. Nice. It'll just come as is.
You just do Dirty Dom. Yeah.
Dude, are we not like twins? I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. But anyway, with that said, we're going to tune in again, AEW on Friday. So tune into that. Thank you for always listening, tuning in, commenting, liking us. Hit that subscribe button, please. And as always, if you want to catch me, I'm blowing up finally for the first time ever. So hopefully it continues to do on TikTok. You can catch me at HBD Denton or any social media device. And I just got on Threads as well. So you can check me out there. I'm going to start trying to post on there. And with me, as always, is my main man,
Ryan Enjoys Wrestling. Go hit me up on all the social media platforms as well. Go subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're almost at 1,300 followers. I think we're at 1,276, I believe. So we're almost there. So keep following us, keep subscribing. Go subscribe on Twitch if you haven't done so already, because we're back to doing live podcasts. And then if you're listening to us on Apple and Spotify, we appreciate all the love and support. Go leave us a 5-star rating and review, and tell everyone about your favorite two dudes on the internet. So because we're blowing up, man. We're the best wrestling podcast out there, and we want the whole world to know about it too.
True that. Two dudes, wolf pack. We
Two
out.
dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the two dudes and our attitudes ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. The 5-star broadcast, shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E, the two dudes with the attitudes will bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.